Good morning. Hi there. It's good to see you here. My name is Moore Horton. I'm senior minister here at Woodland Chapel. I've been on extended leave for various reasons, and I am at least back today anyway. And Neil, can you hear me at all? Okay, you got the right button. You're all definitely welcome here. This is a community that flourishes in love and flourishes in faith. We are a community of faith and love, and we bring that to one another so that we may support each other in our individual explorations of life. It's an exciting adventure. It's an exciting adventure to be here, to be alive, to be aware, to participate. We welcome every one of you. Yes, we do. Did anyone see the Perseid meteor thing? We've been in a meteor storm. Meteor. I'll have to try that word better. Meteor.
I think it's over, right?
One of my challenges, getting my language. Did anybody see any? No.
You were in Colorado.
I was, but I was here last night. I went out in my backyard. Well, last night, at about 4:30 this morning, and yeah, they're really exciting. There may be some again on another night. To me, that just how would I say it? It just kind of reflects magnificence of spirit and of life, and its ability to express itself in unique ways, just as each of us are expressing the Spirit of God in a unique and powerful way. Welcome, all of you. Now, is anyone here for the first time? Lisa? Yeah, okay. There's two there, and one over here. Yeah. It's him. The lady in the dark blue blouse. There you go. Inside that packet is a Science of Mind magazine.
We have another one right there.
Uh-huh. Oh, there we go. She's ahead of the game. So that publication has been in existence since about 1927. It is a magnificent source of daily inspiration and of informative articles. I think you'd love seeing that. Also, there's a form. It looks like this. It's a kind of a little half sheet in there. If you would want to keep in touch with us and allow us to be in touch with you, just fill out that form, put your name and whatever's, we'll need an email and a phone number would be nice. There is a contact list that we use, which is confidential, and you'd be on it. If you are experiencing a challenge in life or have a special celebration and would like a practitioner to pray with you, to celebrate with you, to encourage you, to uplift you, then put some information that says contact me at some time or other, and someone will contact you. That is done in confidence and is done with the full realization that you are a magnificent spiritual being. Okay, there are a few announcements today. You find announcements typically on the back side of the program. Next week, Reverend Julie's topic will be percolating your passion with purpose. I think of a coffee pot.
I was thinking too.
Please join us for hospitality following this morning's service. The third Sunday of each month, we do a soul soup for the soul. And it's delightful. Usually there's 3 or 4 soups and a bunch of breads and sometimes really delicious desserts for $3 a person donation. And if you want to give 100, that's okay too. But $3, it will work. Or if you don't find yourself replete with cash, just come down and enjoy the soup. Our confidential prayer requests are available in the seat pocket in front of you. And there's a copy of one of them right there that our practitioner Donna's holding. Fill it out and we will pray with you. Let's see, there are practitioners available after the service, and you can recognize them because they're wearing a white stole. Donna, you are, yeah, okay today. And Ruth, thank you. Okay, sharing time, gift, talent, treasure. Sharing takes so many forms in this life. It might be money, or it might be service, a special gift to the chapel, whatever. Just contact a member of one of our practitioners or ministers. Would all the practitioners or ministers raise their hand? Don. Ruth? So, you know who. Volunteer opportunities. We need someone to join Kathy Daniels and help her organize hospitality on the 5th Sunday of the month. That's only on months that have a 5th Sunday. Are there any other announcements that need to be made at this time? Yes, Roy? Don? What?
If anyone has a pickup, they can help stop chairs on our outdoor service.
That's going to be the last Sunday in August.
Chairs from the downstairs out to the outdoor service. And a pickup help. You just put them in the back and drive them down. The last Sunday of the month.
The 27th.
Yeah, the last Sunday
Yeah.
of this month. If not, we
Or it might even work with SUV where you can put chairs in. Yeah. And Roy, did you have something?
Today's a special day.
What?
This is Phyllis's birthday. We're celebrating today.
Really? Happy birthday, Phyllis. Pardon?
58.
58.
Oh, it's
Oh.
high, I'm sorry. I get things turned around.
You get the same?
Yes, right, go. Right, happy birthday.
Shall we sing to her?
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Phyllis. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Oh, goodness. Well, we do sing together in various ways. We have a congregational song, and I think
We do. You don't need words.
you're going to lead us.
You know, you got this. Brent, a little light. Oh, you know, I was going to say, before we do this, somebody came up to me, a few Sundays ago, and said, oh, I wish I had the talent that you had. And I said, wow, I wish I had the talent you had. And she kind of looked at me, and I said, well, mine's good for some things. It really is awful for moving things. I had a friend bring his truck and his brawn and helped me do a whole bunch of moving recently. I had a friend call me yesterday and said, I know you've had a really hard week and it's been long and I bet you're tired, and I made dinner. Come on over. I was like, those are the talents I want to have. And so this song just talks about something real simple, and I think y'all know it, but remember what it means. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Slow, and we're starting slow. This little light of mine, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, let it shine. I'm just gonna let it shine. I'm not gonna make it shine. I'm just gonna let it shine. I'm not gonna make it shine. I'm just gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Now sing out, show me this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. Oh, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Talk to your neighbor. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Oh, yeah. Woo! Yes. Yes.
We are a lively group, are we not? One of the ways we express our life is also in prayer. And we have an invocation this morning. And our practitioner, Donna Stevens. By the way, the practitioners all have beaucoup years of training to do this. Donna.
Well, after all that excitement, it's now time to quiet ourselves and go within. Okay, so please join me and go within, knowing there is one infinite power, one spirit, one mind, and that mind is my mind now. I know that each one of us is created in the perfection of the one, whole and complete. We are eternal spiritual beings given free will to experience our human lives on this planet Earth. Each one of us is perfectly imperfect, free to miss the mark and spiritually grow in our human challenges. I know life is about living, trying new things, and making mistakes, growing and learning. It's loving every moment for what it is and nothing more. It's all about loving yourself. I am full of gratitude knowing this is the truth, and I release my word to the law. And please join me in saying, and so it is.
Please look in your program and for the word affirmation, and we'll now affirm the spiritual truth that Donna has brought to us. In this moment, I pause to reflect on the passion that flows through me. I know it is my own unique expression of divine love, finding experience through my human journey of love in this world. And so it is. And we have a reading this morning presented by our board secretary, Satya Riversong.
Makes me tall. Oh, that's a great little step. I like that. I like that. Come on, the dog ears here somewhere. There it is. Okay. In service to others. Oh, that's a bit much. Service. This is from the Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm. Service is the rent we pay for the privilege of living on this earth. It is the very purpose of life, not something you do in your spare time. In the list of spiritual principles of the Baha'i Faith, it states, service performed in the spirit, work performed, all work performed in the spirit of service is worship. And Ernest Holmes says in this thing called you, the desire you have to be something, to do something, is a mental echo in your mind of the spirit that already exists within you. As we move through our life, we can choose service, compassion, and love, or not. But we will never regret being kind. People who are near their time of transition almost never regret what they did, but rather what they did not do. We are put here to be kind, to love one another. It always amazes me how a small act can make a big difference in someone's life. A card, a call, a smile, a nod, holding open a door, all have the potential to make someone's day. A few months ago, I had a tire that needed some air. I had never used the machine at the gas station where I stopped. Someone saw me trying to figure out what to do. He came over to show me how to use the machine and then filled up my tires. A small deed, perhaps, but one that touched my heart. We serve others because we are all part of the human family. Jesus said that the two great commandments are to love God and to love our neighbors as ourselves. When we do the second, we are living the first. Holmes wrote, "We shall see in the long run, life must return to us what we reflect into it. In the long run, only the merciful can obtain mercy. Hate will beget hate, and love will give birth to that which is lovely. Joy will find joy, and peace join with peace." Affirming, today I make the commitment to love and serve. I expect nothing in return, but know my rewards are great.
And I believe Brent and Darcy Schmidt have some special music for us.
Oh, I have been lucky or given a great gift to be on two sides of the picture. In one part of my life, I am recognized mostly because I sit up here and you see me and they say my name all the time. They say Brent's name. They don't say Mary's name, but she's right here too. So we are very public. And so we get accolades for that. Now don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful thing. But I've also been on the other side. I'm a teacher. And I've had the privilege of going through 30 years of teaching stuff. And it's been very interesting to go through and see how many times in my head I was thinking, I don't, they didn't get it, they don't matter, it didn't matter. I was, just doing my things, my job, and I do the best I can, but they're kids, and I have all that, right? Where I believe that I'm invisible. And then I read, some letters from kids saying, wow, you know what you did for me? And I thought, why did I think I was invisible? Why did I think what I was doing wasn't necessarily being received? And why did I think I just blended in, and I just was part of the teaching force, And like I said, the friend that came and brought his truck, he didn't blend in. I needed him. The woman who made dinner last night, nobody has a better dinner than I had last night. And they both thought they were doing what was easy, and what was simple, and what really didn't, quote unquote, matter. And yet, being up here in front sometimes matters less than the things that I get to do behind the scene in the invisible world, which is not really true. This song talked about that. This is the little guy was talking about how hard it was to be the same as everything. And he called it being green. It's not that easy being green, having to spend each day the color of the leaves. When I think it would be nicer being red or yellow or gold or something much more colorful like that. If not standing out like flashy sparkles in the water or stars in the sky. But green's the color of spring, and green can be cool and friendly like, and green can be big like an ocean, or important like a mountain, or tall like a tree. When green is all there is to be, it could make you wonder why. Ah, but why wonder? Why wonder? I am green and it'll do fine. It's beautiful and I think it's what I want to be. But green is the color of spring, and green can be cool and friendly like, and green can be big as a mountain, or tall like a tree. When green is all there is to be, it could make you wonder why. But why wonder? Why wonder? You are green, and it'll do fine. You're beautiful, and it's what you're meant to be. It's not easy being blue.
We are privileged this morning to hear from a distinguished speaker who has founded other centers for spiritual living and is here as our staff minister, Reverend Julie Applegate. Please welcome her.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Darcy, Brent, Mary. Oh, awesome this morning. Oh, wow. Welcome. And you know what? You can be glad you're in here. I mean, the air conditioning is coming and coming, and it'll get better, but it's better than outside. So you were smart getting here. So welcome, welcome. Good morning. And I will have to tell you about something about Reverend Moore. Yesterday, I went to a little party up in Vancouver from friends that I've known for a long time, and were actually many in my first church. And they now go to the Portland Center for Spiritual Living, and Reverend Moore spoke there, and I was telling them about him, and they were like, oh, he was so good. We absolutely loved him. So, yeah. So we are actually one big community that's spread out everywhere, and it's so fun to go somewhere and to know and to be part of something bigger than ourselves. So this month we're exploring passion and purpose, and I love this topic and what it means to live passionately with purpose. And so last week we looked at what's first and foremost in this journey on planet Earth. We're to learn what it is to be human and divine. And when Darcy was talking about, only part of us maybe shows, and what a wonderful teaching we're in to realize that we are also divine. That we are also divine and part of this journey to grow in wisdom and to grow in love and to spiritually awaken. To be wholly and completely who we are. And doing that, we leave this energy field behind us, with us and behind us that makes a difference in the world. And the second thing is to allow our imagination to play a larger place in our life. Because sometimes we do shut that down, like we're imagining all these wonderful things. And I could do this and I could do that. And then we get really practical, don't we? It's like, and we have all the reasons why that doesn't work. And all the excuses. So I came across this story of a young man who was so impassioned with the love of his life. He had found this woman that he was just madly in love with. And he wrote her this note and he said, I am so committed to you. He said, I would swim the widest ocean just to see your face. And I would battle a dragon to save you and to hold your hand. And I would work many jobs so that you could have what you wanted. And then at the end of the note, he said, P.S., I'll be by to see you on Sunday if it doesn't rain. So you guys, how often do we let something deflect from that greater purpose that is maybe growing in us? And this Sunday, we're speaking about the purpose and moving into the second week of our 3-week series and really talking about discovering that and feeling the passion that comes with us with that. And that's why I really love that song, Let Your Light Shine. It's just perfect for this morning. And you wonder why maybe we have this rousing song and all of our energy. And I am an energy junkie, so I love when we do that. Thank you, Darcy and Mary and Brent. Oh, that was great. And then we do a prayer, and I was like, oh, is that no. What happens in energy like this and sharing your gift is that it opens up something. Do you feel opened when you have this wonderful music and you're just like part of this big energy field? And in that opening, then when we move into prayer, which isn't going to take away from that, it allows us to more deeply experience those holy words. So we're delving this week into finding and cultivating the connection between passion and purpose. So I had the privilege and joy of being a stay-at-home mom, and it was probably my very favorite thing in the world to be able to do that. And then when my children started college, I needed to think about going to work, and I did. But I used to think, what will I do when they're grown? And I would have all these ideas about a job, and I would think of what I wanted to do for a career, and it became like really frustrating because I would think, oh, I want to do that. And one day I remember thinking, maybe because I heard something on NPR and it sounded really exciting, I want to be a journalist. And then I thought, well, then I have to go back to school, and that would be fine, except that if I do that, I can't do that. And every time I thought about doing something, I realized if I did that, then I couldn't do all these other things. And I lived in this great quandary about that because clearly I wanted to do everything. And everything just sounded so wonderful. And I used to think, yeah, it just, doing one thing eliminates everything else. So what am I going to do? So I'm kind of stymied about that. In the meanwhile, I was doing a lot of things. I mean, it wasn't just sitting around. I was volunteering. I was involved in the community and the schools and my church. And one day, returning home from church, and I know exactly where I was on Interstate 205, and I passed that like every day, I heard this inner voice. And I've only heard this voice like so clearly a few times, but I recognize it. And it said, "You will be a minister." Now, that had never been on that very long list of things that I just had to do. I had to do so many things that when I started college, I actually started out in pre-med. But guys, guess what? It really eliminated a lot of other things in my life. There was just too darn much work. So, so I have a long history of this. And I had never thought, I want to be a minister. But I didn't question that for 1 second, because I know this voice and I know it so clearly. And if you have had those voices, perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Or just this inspiration that we so often just push aside. So I didn't question that voice that told me you're going to be a minister. I many times questioned, did I have the ability to do that? Can I do it? And boy, that was a biggie. But I knew I had to do it. So back at all my passions and abilities. When I look back in my life, they all came together. All the things I had been doing, they all came together to support this calling to the ministry. All the volunteer, all the leadership, all of that had come together without my knowing it to support that. James Hillman, who was a psychologist and he was actually director of the Jungian Institute in Zurich, had this to say. He's really cool if you ever want to pick up one of his books. He says, "There is more in human life than our theories tell. Sooner or later, something seems to call us onto a particular path. As this call, if we pay attention, was there since childhood. And it determines our biography as much as the memories and childhood experience." And I really like to get into this, and I have this little photo of my youngest daughter when she was 5, I think, 4 or 5. And I think it's just the cutest thing. And she's got all her little dolls and her stuffed animals lined up, and she's teaching school. And I managed to get a snapshot of that. And then as she got older in school, she used to play school a lot, and she'd have parent-teacher conferences all the time. And so today, she is teaching in a Title IX school, and I got to tell you, she is a stellar teacher. And forget that I'm her mom, she really is a stellar teacher. And she has to do a lot of parent-teacher conferences because this is a school where a lot of the kids have a lot of difficulties, and a lot of times the parents aren't involved very much. So I'm fascinated by that, seeing her real focus in childhood. Our other daughter and I've come across this in my cleaning forays, and I find a lot of little books that she wrote, and she would write books and illustrate them and then put cardboard covers on and all that. And today she is a published author. So I look at that, and I look back. You can look back on your own life. What did you like to do when you were a child? What was calling you? What was your passion before maybe that passion was squelched? Or maybe it wasn't. You just went off in another direction. That's okay. What we did doesn't have to be our job, because we are more than our job. We are more than our job. Take a measure of your life. What is it that you find yourself drawn to? Even today, what is it that you find yourself drawn to? What is it throughout life you have found yourself drawn to? That has some way focused your life in the journey that you have been on. and your skills and all of the things that have grown out of that, what you have learned about yourself. You know, I mean, this is probably odd for a kid, but I used to play church. 6 months of the year, I would go to the Baptist church, and in the town we lived in the winter in Arizona, and then in the summer I would go to the Mormon church. And I got to tell you, I love the Baptist preaching, you know, and of course I didn't get to preach. I played the piano because the wives always played the piano. I didn't know I could preach, but, you know, it's oddly, when I look back, it's like, who plays church? But Meister Eckhart, a medieval mystic, a great doctor of the church, amazing man, said, we are all God's seeds. Remember that? Many of you have heard that before. He said, we are all God's seeds, and within us is a destiny. As the acorn is destined when planted and nurtured to become an oak tree, it's within that acorn to be that. How it is planted, how it is cared for, how it is tended will influence if it grows and how it grows. But the destiny is still within that acorn. And you may think, I have always felt called to something in my life, to something. And maybe not having done it doesn't change the fact that within that acorn, and maybe we are called to have a spiritual awakening and be a light. But there's a destiny in you. I was looking at some genealogy because the one daughter wanted to go to Virginia, where some of our ancestors were from, and then I got into the Civil War because they were in the Civil War. And then it led me on my bunny trail to Abraham Lincoln. And you know, what a person. We should read these biographies. They are inspirational. You know, we should periodically just take up one of these, because here is this individual, and I believe that it had to be him. Looking and scanning the leaders of that period, there wasn't anybody else that could have done what he did. I really believe that. And looking at the history and all the leaders and the politicians of the time. But you know what? Who would have known this? He was like born in a log cabin. And of course now it's important to be born in log cabins, I guess, for your credibility. But he was born in a log cabin. His mother died when he was young. He had to scramble for an education. And to be a lawyer in those days, you studied with somebody. You didn't actually have to go to school to do that. He lost 8 elections. He won 1. How many of us stick in there over things like that? How many of us hang in there in difficult times, or we just give up and say, well, it wasn't meant to be? He won 1. He lost his bid for vice president, and he barely squeezed by in the nomination for president. But there was something in him that kept him moving towards this. And it wasn't an easy journey. But what if, I think the destiny was within him. And when I read biographies, I can see the destiny in that individual and in each one of us. Plato said the soul of each of us is given a unique guide before we are born, and it has selected an image or pattern that we live on earth. I absolutely believe that. And James Hillman agrees with this. He said the idea of a guide and a destiny, it calls this the prime fact of our human existence. So we may have accidents, we may have heartbreak, and we will. We have these shocks to our flesh, we have illnesses, this is too is part of the human condition. But this belongs to you guys. It belongs to a platform. Everything is grist for the mill. Everything. Everything is a part of how it develops us, what we learn, what we know, who we are. And we should not look at anything that has happened in our life as a failure. I know we just do because we have a goal, we have something we want, and we haven't achieved it. And we can just feel that way if we want, or we can explore the gift in it. And there is always a gift because things do not happen in our life by accident. Our calling can be postponed, but it can't be avoided. And we're not predetermined. I love this quote from Carolyn Mace. She said, "Fate is how your life unfolds when you let fear determine your choices. A path of destiny reveals itself to you, however, when you confront your fear and make conscious choices." So just let go, and let go of how you thought your life should be, how we thought our life should be. How many of us today, and I was thinking of this the other day, I was like, this isn't what I was actually cleaning the barn. And I thought, well, this isn't actually how I foresaw my life. I mean, a barn maybe, but somebody to clean it for me. How many of us had ideas about what our life would look like? Yeah, definitely. And much of it may look like it, but does everything look like we thought? Because there's a wisdom in us that is greater than what our conscious, limited mind, by our limited experience, knows. Because our life, the quote says, is trying to work its way into our consciousness. And consciousness is cause. Yeah. And our destiny being written in it. And how can we recognize some things? Well, paying attention is one thing. Exploring what we've been talking about. Listening to our intuition and trusting it. It's our best guide, you guys. And it's the first thing we easily throw aside. And notice our childhood tendencies like we were just talking about. And what are the ideas that come to you unbidden? Clues. And guys, don't let all the rules influence you. Yeah. Because essentially we are called to a destiny of love that will take its form in its own way. And I love that when I came across that. We are called to a destiny of love, and it will take its form in its own way. And Carolyn Mace tells a story. I love this in one of her books. She was with somebody, and they were saying, but look where I live, it's just kind of not that great. And my job is very menial, so what do I have how does this fit for me? And her comment was, it's not about what we do, it's how we do what we do. That wherever we are, to be a light. That it doesn't matter where we are and what we're doing and what we're called to do, but to use that as a light, to be a light there. We may not always have a sense of our personal destiny, but we definitely do know that it's going to unfold. And I hope today that we leave with a real sense of that within us is like the oak tree and the acorn, that there is a pattern within us seeking to grow and grow and grow. Darcy.
You say the folks in Africa are starving and alone. Well, I've sent others to Africa, but I need you here at home. I've given you a special place, and in this special time, I've given you my love, my light. So now come on and shine and bloom where you are planted now. Don't look so far away. The satisfaction in your life can happen every day. If you bloom where I have planted you, your mission is quite clear. How can I send you somewhere else if you're not blooming here? I've placed you in an office, in a restaurant, in a school. My light is sometimes dimmer there, so that's where I need you. I've given you the tools you need, the power, strength, and peace, and you can let my love come through each message that you speak. If you will bloom where you are planted now, don't look so far away. For satisfaction in your life can happen every day. If you bloom where I have planted you, your mission is quite clear. How can I send you somewhere else if you're not blooming here? You begin to feel a calm from deep within, you will know that I have found a different need for you, and you know you must go. But for the present time, my child, do all you can do, dear. If it were not important to me, I would not have placed you here. Bloom where you are planted now. Don't look so far away. For satisfaction in your life can happen this day. If you bloom where you are planted now, your mission is quite clear. How can I send you somewhere else? Why would I send you somewhere else? How can I send you somewhere else if you're not blooming here? And a special thanks to my mom. My mom wrote that as a question to me about why I shouldn't go to Africa. And, so she wrote this many years ago for me.
Thank you, Darcy, for sharing that. Yes, and Brett for playing, and Mary for getting that drum out there.
I guess she was.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a special time in every service when we realize that we are a gift, that we give a gift and receive a gift. So at this time, I'd ask the persons who are going to collect to come on up, Kathy, and yes, our favorite board president, Michelle. Do we have it? I think you're right to get them. But in the meantime, let's declare our blessing on this offering by reading the words under offering. All right. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Oh, it is.
Bless it always. Bless it always, bless it always. Bless it always, bless it always, for the arms of God surrounds us. May our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say, Amen. Bless it always, bless it always, for the arms of God surrounds us. May our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say, Amen.
Amen, brothers and sisters, friends of Woodland Chapel. We are in the presence of the most holy and high Spirit. When we give of our hearts, when we give of things we have, yes, and we give money. When we give of our hearts, the gift is pure, it's powerful, and it comes back to bless the entire universe through the goodness and the grace of the infinite. And so it is.
So it is. Hang tight, Brent. Just wait.
At this time, if you'd like to stand, we can do our prayer of protection.
And I want to say, Reverend Moore, before go downstairs for refreshments, because I promise you it's cooler downstairs.
Good point, Julie. Reverend Julie. The prayer of protection is printed in the program. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us.
The power of God protects us.
The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. If you would like to join hands and form a circle, we will sing, Let there be peace on earth.
Yes. Go ahead. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin
Well, I'll help too. I just hope there'll be more than just